Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Life Up North. As Charlotte follows Long Shadow into the now darkening woods, it's quiet, very quiet, as she wanders through, taking careful steps along the tundral landscape. There is an air of sadness, there is an air of bitterness, there is an air of defeat, but again, when you wander in places that are so empty and vast, it does put things a lot into perspective of the mundane gripes and frustrations and angers and things you have when you gaze up on empty landscapes such as this. As Charlotte wanders and paces through, she pads, not really sure where the Wendigo rune has gone. After all, he knows this place far more than you probably will in your life. As you pad through the hills, taking careful steps along the trees, give me a perception survival. Let's see how well you navigate through this.
Just to check, because we have done a couple scenes since I bought the first one. Am I cleared for the second dot?
Yes.
Okay. Wanted to make sure before I used it. And considering that she walked off in Hamid, well,
Yes.
Let me Warwealth. Lol, like one, just barely one success.
So you kind of hawk your way through. It takes a bit of time. Again, adding the nighttime feel to it, it makes it harder to push through. Kind of wander in, and eventually what you find is something like this. As the night sky looks even more emeraldy, the passage of water, you can hear the rushing, the large trees almost stick out. It's not quite like your own sept, but it's far more pure. As you kind of wander in, and the reflective glow of the stars adds oddly this kind of moonlit silhouette to it.
I mean, she's just slogging. She's got like the arms kind of crossed in front of her, like you do, even when you're in like a big winter coat. Just, has them kind of crossed and kept close over the body. And she's looking. Admittedly, she has to keep way more attention to the snow and the ground, or she's gonna lose his trail. God damn it! But she does periodically look up, and it's a very distinct contrast for her in that the surroundings are so frigidly cold and so biting and feels so cruel, especially in this fucking moment. But she can't help but glance up and think it's deceptively pretty.
As you see, probably lurking along one of the bigger long trees, you do see Long Shadow gazing. Blood, dirt mixed along his own Hamid form. Seems to have this very far away stare of a man that's lost to himself, really. You can see the bullet wound that probably punctured his ribs. He just kind of stares down into some of the tree line into the snow. Is he just kind of almost like, is this like a statue nearly?
He got healed down pretty good, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she just kind of slowly slogs her way over until she's standing like roughly beside. Not like right up close, but definitely like in arm's reach close. And at least briefly we'll kind of glance over to see where or what he's looking at and follow it just to see, like, of all the shit that he is used to seeing, of all this stuff that, I mean, yeah, she could get caught up in that skyline. That's like 8 million more stars than she will ever see back home. But she's kind of curious.
It is a pack of small wolves that are navigating through one of the brushlands. You can just see them. They look like they are managing themselves, like pack orientates this way, the alpha's going this way, the omega's leading. You know what I mean? It's often quite actually an endearing sight.
Yeah, she's never really seen just a mundane fuck off pack of wolves. Not really. So she just kind of, once she catches sight of them, the head kind of pops up a little bit like, oh! And she starts watching closely.
The wolves move again. They all kind of pad around, and it's a closer bond than perhaps you have seen in a while from some packs back home. There's no politics. There's no anything. It's just pure survival, pure animal instinct. And for a Glasswalker, it is an odd sight. But then again, there's something so pure and innocent about it almost.
I mean, look, man, the last time she saw a pack of wolves, they were chasing her and baying at her heels. She can appreciate this. She may not appreciate the finer points of what are going on, but she can still watch and just kind of, like, as they pick their way along, until they're completely out of sight, she's just gonna watch.
Yeah,
She'll
you
take
eventually see
steal a
like
glimpse once in a while up to him.
he just stares off much with this vacant stare. I'll give you this for free. There is some sadness in his eyes.
And yeah, once they get out of sight, she flicks the glance back up. Sorry.
Look over. For what?
She heaves a shrug. I mean, I don't know. It's easy to feel like if you hadn't found me, this wouldn't have happened.
That is the thought of lesser men. It is easy to blame Glasswalker, and it is easy to blame Fianna or Get or Shadowlord. That is the easy road.
Easy road never seems to be the right one, does it?
Hatred is a powerful thing. We Wendigo know it well. That is Rhyme's family.
She kind of snaps a glance back after them, just kind of the direction they went.
They will not understand if I tell them that their brother is dead. They will not understand why my heart grows heavy. They will, but not in the way that I want them to.
No, I guess not. Did he still run with them, or was he already just with you guys all the time?
He always came back here. Pack must remain strong.
Are they going to be okay without him?
They'll survive. It is their way.
There's like the gloved hand comes up and like the half side of her face, like face rub. So now what?
He just starts walking again, padding his way through the forest.
He just follows.
It's an awkward little walk. Do you say anything as you're walking? Because he's walking for some time.
I mean, she said, now what? And he's walking. But if it does stretch on long enough, she'll kind of still, goes back to that whole arms crossed thing, like, I will hold in my heat. And, I mean, sooner or later, as she's kind of keeping an eye on the ground to make sure she doesn't trip up on something that's hidden under the snow or lose anything, just kind of almost like a kid. It's just like, where are we going?
To find Bitterroot's old place.
Kind of snaps up a glance like, what?
He always used to go to certain places where you could see things in the sky.
Oh. Okay.
As you're walking out to what looks to be a clearing, the snow is not nowhere near as thick and dense here, but that is what you see.
Yeah, there's been a lot of like subtle face rubbing, like whole hand across the face type thing. She just tracks along.
Eventually, Longshaw kind of sips himself down on one of the kind of lower-ended rocks where there's barely any snow now. It's kind of a mix of grass and snow at this point. He just sits there, putting his back up against the tree and stares. And when you look, kind of follow his direction, you get the perfect view of those northern lights, the mountainscape, the land, the trees. At night, it almost creates this almost sort of mystical effect to it.
Yeah, she follows along, kind of comes to stand right around his shoulder, and yeah, just looks up at it. She'll stand. I mean, she does kind of glance over so she can catch like the almost side view. She's a little behind, but looking up, and still is, eventually even like swipes her glove off. Still rubbing.
This was his place when we used to come off Sept.
She'll actually, for a second, stop rubbing her eye, glance around the clearing to see if there's any sign that he or anyone has come to this place regularly, like old fire pit,
There are
anything
two
really.
graves there. Definitely what you can tell are burial mounds.
Yep. She just kind of finally glances around, finds herself a place that's at least reasonably dry, maybe not as much snow, and flops down onto her butt. Knees pulled up, arms on them.
They are the other two we lost. We buried them here.
She just kind of flicks a glance over.
To say that he's crying is no, he's not. Because Charlotte gets the general impression that this man has built a life of being tough and being not even just that stereotypical macho bravado. It's almost like sadness is something that's foreign to him. That you spend your whole life with hatred and vengeance and in your heart, and then to lose everything you have before you is foreign.
I mean, I don't know how much he's actually sparing her a glance. She's totally crying.
No, he hasn't looked at you at all.
Yeah. I mean, she's not making a big fucking show of it. It's just why she keeps rubbing her face.
I have not cried since I was very young.
It was kind of like this weak little chuckle, kinda. Because let's face it, comparatively, it's kind of funny. And, she makes that little noise and kind of snuffles and goes, I cry all the time.
That must be an enlightening thing.
Shrugs. Sometimes it helps. Sometimes I'm just a crybaby.
To say my tribe didn't tell you to cry is a lie. You could cry, but your tears served as they dripped into the mud and the dirt of what you lost. Only Wendigo's vengeance would bring it back.
I just tell myself it's kind of like when you get really worked up and you gotta punch shit to let it out. Sometimes I just cry for it. He finally picks up a random little dead stick and flicks it into the snow.
And why do you cry? Why do you cry, Glasswalker?
There's a shrug. Usually over stuff like this.
Stuff like what?
Losing people. Especially when I know that my actions are part of the series of things that meant we lost them.
Five are mine. My family are gone. One after the other. Only I remain.
I mean, Dean wasn't Pack, but we've still lost, what, 6? Not as fast. Not over time.
The nation takes what it wants from everyone, but we Wendigo know this. It is not to say that we are more powerful than loss, but we learn to hold on to it. Some for the good, some for the bad.
I mean, it's not even like I can scream revenge. The people that did it are people that already have to die. We already knew it. That's why we're fighting them in the first place.
It does not change the fact that you hold it in your heart. People like to say that they're cold. Many Wendigo like to say they're cold. I think they lie to themselves.
You cold?
No. Tired, not cold.
Kind of rubs her face again, glances over.
Bitterroot is my cousin by marriage. I will have to explain to my family how he died and why I'm still alive. His wife will be very sad. They have lots of children.
Are they going to be okay?
Who knows? I cannot speak for them and their grief.
I mean, you said he worked as a professor. Well, they have what they need.
In the end, we will have to provide for them.
She like kind of pitches another stick further out into the snow. Just, out into the clearing. This place doesn't deserve to be so pretty. It's so fucking cool.
It is life. Life is like this. I'd rather have this and feel every pain in my chest than never feel it at all.
You're gonna call me a stupid glasswalker, but I'd rather be able to control enough to keep it from happening in the first place.
And that is the naivety of youth, not of Glasswalker.
Yeah? Kind of pitches a glance over because that was a surprise.
I wanted to keep everyone safe when I was young. A little Clea charging around, butting heads with everyone. In the end, it only made people die just the same. So I began to appreciate the time I had with them, however short or long it was, however much my heart held heavy since. But they were still there, in my dreams and in my memories. And that is why I hold on, and that is why I fight. Hate is easy, but to master your hate and hold on to the memory of the thing you lost, that it is what it is to be Wendigo.
Yes, for me, it's more like grief is easy. And every time someone dies, I keep thinking I can keep it from happening this way again, and someone else just dies a different way for a different reason.
Death is only part of the whole circle of life. It will always happen. Same way as the leaves will die and the wolves will change their packs and rebirth and the cycle will begin. But it's the land we hold on to and who we are. In the face of death, life, and rebirth. That is what Gaia looks to us for.
This is a lot different than death of natural causes. I feel like a spray of silver bullets is a natural cause.
We fight. And we die. That is the way of warriors. It has been since our tribes all began.
And she has yet another stick, this time just kind of poking at the snow. Not even necessarily writing in it, just kind of fucking with it. I'd say I wish this was opt-in, but I feel like if it was, no one would be crazy enough to choose it.
You were right in walking away from the Furies.
Kind of pitches a glance over.
I would have looked down on you for submitting to them.
It wouldn't have accomplished anything, really, would it? I just would have
What-
felt righteous and...
What you're trying to do would have meant nothing.
Yeah.
I respect the Fury and their cause and belief. But I do not respect those who cling to hate like stick and use to hit others with.
Yeah. You think they're gonna actually help with this? Or do you think they're just gonna show up, kill a couple people, and then try to kill me?
They will not kill you.
Well, so try.
They will not.
Sorry, say the last bit again?
They will not.
She kind of, again, it's not full form by any means, but she still kind of grins and rubs her nose. Appreciate your confidence.
Should they try, they will meet my axe in their throat. And Lyra has always feared me.
Yeah?
I do not let her talk to me the way she thinks she can talk to everyone. I may be male, but I am Wendigo. And I know about holding on to hatred more than her tribe will ever will. And I know what it does to people. I am Maroon. The rage I hold is great and mighty. But that does not make me a monster or a hate-filled being to hold and lash out at the world. That is the way of the Wormcomers and those before them, the ones who burned and pillaged, the ones who still to choose to honor it today.
Yeah. Awkward kind of hair ruffle. She's never felt so white in her entire life.
It's what you choose to do with that rage inside you, Charlotte.
Oh, I make a lot of very decisive choices.
You keep
But
hoping to cut yourself down with criticism so you will laugh it off.
kind of flicks like the guilty glance aside.
Hoping that someone will tell you what you fight for is wrong. Because you know it is a hard road. And there will be days where you will sit out here like this.
It's a lot easier when you can laugh at it.
It is not. To laugh at it is to hope then that it will bury away in box.
I don't know how else to stop crying about it.
And sometimes it is good to feel that motion. Sometimes it is good to hold on to it and remember all the things that you are. And then pick yourself up and keep fighting.
He kind of glances over to the mounds. Yeah, this is gonna be bad, right?
It always is. Change and the wild are two things that go hand in hand with each other.
I don't mean like natural change in the wild. I mean those guys were sent out to collect whatever the samples were. They may have been whole bodies for all I know.
And then we will kill them. And we will fight them with every inch of our soul. For that is what we are put here for. It will be tough. It will be hard. But that is what we are here for.
She weighs it out and decides to kind of not drop the other shoe on that.
Should you not have come, we would all be fighting. You have now come. You may be fragile and light-headed, but you have still stood when others would demand you kneel, even if they do not like to see them kneel themselves. It is not about being like one of us. You never will be. But if we are fighting for the same thing, then we must learn to fight together.
Yep.
It is not about trying to placate. You
It's
can
really
never.
not.
You can never placate. Look over at her.
Seems kind of petty to try, really.
That
I
is what I
can't
thought initially
fix
you were
what's
here.
wrong.
That is what I thought initially you were here to do.
Kind of, scrunches her face, glances aside. There's not a thing in the world I could do that could make right everything that's been made wrong.
No, there isn't. But I am not my ancestors. I have my own hate, my own rage, and my own eyes to see what I use it for. And all I see is the true enemy is the worm, not the woman who is trying to help.
And even if I'm really bad at it, kind of grins.
You are not bad. You are just scared.
Well, I mean, if you just want to put it out there, yeah.
Everyone is scared.
I think I'm scared now. Just wait for the next part. I'm gonna do something really stupid. Might even work.
What is that?
Well, we don't see eye to eye, but they're gonna go up there. They can't not, knowing that one of their guys is up there. And you're going up there, I hope. Because I really don't want to try to navigate a mountain by myself. And, well, assuming they don't literally tear me the fuck apart, there's at least one more tribe here that has something to lose up there.
You're going to appeal to Talon.
Appeal's a strong word. But letting them know that they can bite back at something that they want to bite back at. Letting them know that something unnatural will be done with one of their dead. If they don't, you don't have to be friends. We just need to be pointed at the same bad guy.
Once it's over, you will have to run.
Yep. Yeah. I'd kill for that hang glider right now. Probably means I'll have to look like an ass and beat feet as soon as it becomes really clear we're winning, but if I can get them all in the same place, Maybe we can actually do what we got up there to do. Get rid of what they're coming here to get.
Yes.
Then they stop sending teams, and then you guys can just live.
I suppose we can.
You have a family?
No. They are gone. I did not remarry.
Oh. Awkward silence. Because asking what happened is not productive and will just dredge up more shit.
You could say I failed them as well.
I mean, we could have a fail off.
But they are with me. In my heart. Always.
She finally flicks her poking stick. Still doesn't deserve to be so pretty.
It does.
Like a poisoned dart frog.
Then we wouldn't keep coming here to look at it and remember. Then the world would be grey and lifeless.
Why can't the pretty things ever just be nice?
They are. There is no Orem attacking us now. No Talons commanding territory. No Furies demanding righteous hate. No Get of Fenris seeking glory. There is just the wild and silence. The stars in the night.
She takes that in and, actually looks up, though, after a bit of a pause, glances aside. You're pretty good at pep talks for Narun.
That is what we were born for. We can kill. But killing is never enough. You have to help people understand why we fight. How we fight. And when you feel even the lowest point, there has to be a fire that reignites you. That is what we are. We can hate all we want. Or we can be wise about who we hate and how we hate.
Well, at least we all hate the same thing. Kind of flicks a glance over at the mountain.
Yes. You should sleep.
How long do you think it'll take us to get up there?
A while. But you should sleep.
And like the petulant child she is, she kind of flicks a glance over. Is that their turf?
Who?
Talons.
Here?
Up on the mountain there.
Depends. But it depends. But it won't matter now. Sleep.
She sticks her glove back on. Rubs her hands for a second. You know that thing that happens when you decide you're tired and it's time to sleep, but it's 3 a.m. and your brain is like, remember every lyric to this music video?
Gets up.
Blinks. Still
Lupus.
sitting on the ground. What's he say?
Go to Lupus.
She kind of looks at him for a second, but finally kind of shrugs compliantly, and yeah, takes a minute, but twists her way around until she's in Lupus, still sitting.
He just leans back, reaches into the small pocket, grunting a bit, takes a small little flute, and close your eyes.
It's a little bit grudging, but she actually gets up and shuffles herself around a bit, because you know what? He may be a big badass Wendigo, but she's not. And she putzes over until she's kind of ambled right up next to him and flops out there. Tucks her, muzzle down next to his leg. Enough to have at least, like, peripheral physical contact.
And he plays.
And yeah, she takes a minute to drift off. She scooches around a couple times, eventually probably ends up nudged pretty firmly up against his leg, curled up. She'll eventually doze off.
Charlotte nestles out to the sound of relaxing music. Long Shadow honors his packmates in the death song of their people. And that is where the scene will end.